ever actually ready. I mean, I have to push the. There we go. Good evening, ladybugs and yellow jackets. Welcome to this week's episode of FAE News here on FAE Productions. Ooh, we're running a little extra late tonight, but yes, thank you all for joining us. And tonight, as you know, I'm your host, Fairy Princess Lolly, and I'm here with Ion the Leprechaun and Baroness Still Dorian Gale and Phoenix Rainbow Light, the Herald, and StormiFae. And thank you guys for being here. We're missing some people tonight because everybody is basically sick at once is what's going on. And that includes actually like 3 of us on the show. I think everybody here except for myself and Ion are the only 2 that aren't sick. So come Morbid is out and
that's not true. There's nothing different about my voice at all right now. It's not just a little subtly different. No.
Can't tell at all.
You're joking. No, your voice is hoarse.
No, his voice is fox.
What does the fox say?
Oh man,
I'm dead. Oh my god.
This isn't what I put. I swear this is not what I put. Oh, what were we supposed to do?
That was last week.
We were going to slay the bell.
We go slay the bell queen. You slay.
Like, subscribe, and slay the bell, meaning hit that little bell button if you want to get future notifications of our shows. And yeah, so I think I think though you have the agenda, so you're in charge of like agendaizing everything this evening, Phoenix, for us. Tell me, I don't know what that look was on your face.
It might have been me, and I have no idea what's going on. So
There's a lie.
I will just make things up.
Your agendas belong to us.
The thing that I like about that, though, it was the look on Stormy's face. Almost was like, I mean, she kind of had this, I don't know what's going on, but also, is somebody about to give me power? Unlimited power.
Unlimited power.
It might be a big mistake. It might also be very entertaining.
So that was an excellent face. It could go either way, you know.
First on the agenda, then, yes. Are we ready? Huh?
Ready as where I will be.
Yes.
First announcement comes from the princess. Yes. We'll be talking about Imbolc volunteer meeting that's going on Thursday. Care to elaborate, Princess Lolly?
Yes, tomorrow. That is Thursday, as in tomorrow, December 15th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be having our next Fairylight volunteer meeting. So one of the our website is up and has been being worked on over the past couple of weeks by myself and Rainwolf. So it is coming along nicely, which I'm pretty excited about. And one of the things that I also want to put out there for you guys, I'm going to put it actually in the comments, is that the website, because I'd like to just look at it with all of you all, if I can, for a second, like do a little screen share here. Because we have our wish list for the convention on the website. Yes, I'm pretty excited actually. Like we've slowly been, since we started our volunteer meetings, adding to the wish list of things that we need. Some of which I just go and collect and buy and stash away till it is that time. But obviously, you know, there are more things than I can get all at once. So I'm going to share it really quick with you guys. Can you all see? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is our website. And over here, boom, we have our little wish list.
Those fingers holding up that purple green lanyard look very, very noticeable, familiar almost, yes.
Is that your hand?
That is me.
That's awesome.
I'm your perfect hand model.
Arm warmers very much suit the purpley pattern.
I did want to show you guys though the wish list, because all of these things should have links and to our Amazon wish list for the convention. If you guys feel like you want to do, if you are far away and you want to contribute but you can't be here in person to volunteer, then we would love it if you contributed by getting. Obviously haven't finished it these last two, but the first two are definitely all live links and are things that we could use. So that is that there. And also, because it's, I think, somewhere else, we have our quests that are up as well. So if you want to go do any of the fairy quests, they're up as well, and you can do that. They're also in the links in the low bar down below.
Could you go back to the wish list for just a second? Because I noticed you have correctly labeled button.
What? I mean, yes, I can go back. Okay, hold on.
It's okay. You should go back to the Krampus quest, because I think Flora already completed that.
I mean, what? Flora quested for crime. Well, you know what? Just you hold on with that just a minute. Where am I going to the wish list?
Wish list, yeah.
But the secrets are bursting inside you.
At the top, convention wish list, our list of items would help. Button.
Oh, that button probably is supposed to go to our actual Amazon. Oh,
that is a beautiful broken link button.
No,
yes.
I will
have to fix it. Listen,
one button.
I've been doing insane 12 to 16 hour days for the last.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
So,
it's correctly labeled.
It is correct.
Here's the lie. It's a button.
Here's a button. What do you do? Where does it go? Nowhere.
It's a button. You know, that's.
What if
like
we just displayed the number of times someone has pressed the button?
We've got other things on our list here.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is next on the agenda?
Oh,
next up is. What was that?
What?
Say it again.
The agenda's a lie.
Fine. I don't need that anyway. Fine. Why don't we just go away? Get off the desk. Go. Anyway, next on the list. Ooh, I'm gonna like this one. Welcome to our new Patreons. Welcome to the party.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you guys, of course, all know, this month's special that everybody will get at the end of the month, actually next month in January sometime, because we have to keep count all the way to December, is a Dross token for the December special. And it will be worth as much Dross as we have Patreon patrons on our Patreon at the end of the month. So that's right.
Nice. Shrink down with me, Stormy. We can do it. Yeah. This is really bad on my neck.
Yes. So, congratulations! Welcome to our Patreon family. We're now up to 145 Patreon patrons, which is, I think we were at 141 or 140 last week, so that's good. But our new ones are the White Knight and Paul Klosterman and Greyheart Wave Wanderer and Eli Melton. So, thank you all for joining us on Patreon. And we're trying to get to 200. After I did my math today, we're at approximately something like we need 2.8 people to subscribe every single day. But now to the end of the month.
Tell your friends. That point 8 of a person is really hard to get.
I want to see 0.8 of a person immediately.
I'm just telling you all right now that if you still haven't figured out what you want to get your friends and family for Christmas, just get them a Patreon subscription at $7. That's all you need. Yeah. You don't even have to spend that much money on them. Come on now. No. Just come and be part of this fairy LARPing event. It's great.
I actually want to say something that was actually brought up to me by one of our patrons that they said that I should mention that if you are adverse to having a monthly portion come out like an automatic withdrawal, you can in fact sign up for an entire year and have just one payment. And then if you do that, you actually get a 10% discount. but then you
Mhm.
only just have the one payment and it just comes out all at once. And then you're signed up for the entire year and you don't have to worry about it. So I think that at the lowest level, that's our WildFae level, that works out to about $31 a year. So I don't know. Go ahead, like consider that and drag all of your friends along with you because the more the merrier. Hey, you know what? I want you to look a little more enthusiastic down there, Stormy.
I was about to be like, I've been enthusiastic all night. No, oh God, that's creepy. Why am I sitting closer to you? I'll scoot this way.
The
You
games
have
will
regrets?
continue until morale improves.
I will say it reminds me of the second Maleficent movie that I just got done watching because I've never seen it, and that
I
whole
didn't know
like,
there was a second one. What's that
oh,
about?
it's amazing. I ain't gonna tell you no spoilers,
You
but
can't
just the
even tell
fact
me
that
the
like
premise of the movie?
When did that second one come out? Hold
Sleeping
on.
Beauty's getting married, and then she finds her own hunky man dream of herself for Maleficent. Let's go right there. That's
When
fine.
did that come out? What?
What?
Sleeping
That's a
Beauty
while
long
ago.
Where have I been? Oh, that's right. I don't pay attention.
Disney Plus. That's where it's at. Boom,
Okay.
boom. Anyway, not asking for Disney Plus to sponsor us or anything, but just saying, like, it was so great. She's like, "Thank you for inviting me to the castle," and she just had this creepy ass smile. You're like, "Shit, you can sit in the back. It's fine."
Love it. Love her.
All right.
I'm on mute. All right.
Thank you, Patreons. You guys are all awesome. Yes.
Here we go. Count Morbid. Yes, people can pay in human organs, but just not to Patreon.
People can pay in human organs.
That's
Fairies,
right.
however, should not. That's why we have dross.
It makes more sense if fairies do.
It does. It's quite
I
fair.
mean, but do we need to exclude the serial killers of the
Tracy,
human
your
race?
bones?
What is the exchange
Price.
rate for a kidney?
You'd have to check the black market.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're talking black or white
I
market.
think the kidneys aren't worth as much because you can get away with keeping one.
Maybe like 50,000.
I mean, and it also depends on if you were an alcoholic beforehand or not. Like, what level of good kidney are we talking about? Like somebody who,
More for livers, but yeah.
I mean, it still circulates stuff out your body. Just saying. Like,
I mean, and you got to consider when these kidneys get illicitly taken, right? Like in the ice bath with like this, just you wake up, right? That's usually after a rager of a party or something, right? So what? How?
It's after a kidnapping, not a party.
Charlie the Unicorn. Oh, they took my freaking kidney.
I forgot about you.
You know, I really wanted one of those. I mean, I really wanted one of those canned unicorns that was like the little plushy unicorn parts that came in like a Spam can from a few years ago. You guys don't know what I'm talking about?
No, that sounds terrifyingly wonderful.
Let me see if I can find it.
Love that.
Why do you even write an agenda?
Hashtag spam
We're
unicorns.
getting there. It keeps us somewhat on track.
I'm looking at the list. We're halfway there. It's fine.
This was on the agenda, is what you don't know.
Weirdly, one of the article links I
Wait.
sent you is related.
I'm looking
to
at the
that.
list right now. I don't see anything labeled spam unicorn.
Spam unicorn.
It's on the other page.
To be unicorn.
Oh my gosh, I need this in my life. That's hilarious.
See, I want that so much, but I don't know if they
You're
still
gonna kill the
exist
Herald with laughter over here.
or for sale anymore. But it's amazing. I wonder if they magnetize together and then you can just like
Oh my god.
The internet is full of things.
If not, that would be really easy to do, though. Make it
I'm just
magnetic,
saying that
yeah.
Wouldn't that make playing a game of unicorn hangman fun? Right? So like you're playing hangman, but it's like a unicorn. And every time somebody misses, like guesses a letter that's not there, you're like, like
I think you don't understand how Hangman works. You add pieces to the Hangman.
Take them
you know
away.
what? I'm
Maybe-
pretty sure that okay, fine. Then we'll play the draw and quarter version.
No.
Of Hangman.
We're not playing Hangman. We're playing Guillotine Unicorn. That's what that is. You remove parts. I figured it out. All right, that's the reverse of the game.
It's just French Revolution unicorn. Is that what you're saying?
French. Ooh, that's great.
Isn't spam all meat? Like all of it?
Yes.
I never tried
How do you define meat?
it.
It is in fact meat.
It's okay. I'm sure a majority
What
of
is
grown in labs
vegan
nowadays.
spam made out of?
The meaty kind.
Not
Like-
Vegan pigs.
It's
Not
mainly
meat.
pink.
It's made from vegan pigs. Yes.
It's made from vegans.
It's
Well, our cows are vegan because they're herbivores, and therefore
our
cow meat is vegan.
cows are
What?
vegan. Cows.
Woo.
They are. They're herbivores, right? So they're vegan.
Yes, they were raised that way from birth and from their mothers.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, they can't be vegan because they got milk in the beginning. Right?
Not if you steal them immediately.
But then are you just killing them right away? Is that what we're talking about?
Are we ready for our next order of business?
Do
I was
cows
thinking-
eat later
I'm
on
ready
in
for
their
the
life?
next one. This one gets me one more step to my secret. My secret I'm gonna tell everybody.
Oh, okay. What's the next one?
The next one is a Krampus Quest.
Oh, the Krampus Quest. Okay, this is fun. So, first of all, Krampus Quest is live, as you guys know, and it's an indefinite quest, like all the other quests. So you can go on it forever, like even after this month. It's up, it's live. Go do the Krampus Quest. But speaking of Krampus Quest,
Indefinitely.
this is actually an Ion topic because the Ion has some endings from some folks out there that have completed the Krampus Quest, and he's gonna share with us people's endings.
All right. Ace the Dragon's ending was, as I am Ace the Dragon, I puffed a ball of fire onto the Krampus staff to set it on fire for him to use, and then used my sharp claws to slash at the criminals, cutting several of them on their arms and faces.
Aggressive.
Props.
Well, I guess is a dragon, I suppose.
Maybe.
Dame Erwina with her buffer sword starts the battle swinging hit for hit, pushing the Firbolg back as Santa and Krampus help push them away from his sleigh. And as soon as we are clear, we all get on the sleigh and fly away. And then Tempest the Shifter. The battle was glorious. Candy cane missiles, holly rockets, and then crack of Krampus's switch before we shoved those baddies into his bag.
I'm liking these.
I know.
Any more?
Right?
I feel like I need more of those in my life right now.
There was
Especially if
some-
we're doing them indefinitely. Just keep them coming, everybody. These are great.
I know. So, well, I think we've had 16, and we read a few last week, and we read a few this week. So, yes, keep them coming. Impress us with your awesome ending, and then we can read it. Ion can give you a dramatic reading.
At least he can read.
I mean, wait a minute. I can read.
I wasn't insulting you. I was insulting myself.
Oh,
So I'm just gonna say that one of the articles I
I
submitted
didn't know you
this
couldn't
week
read.
was specifically a troll because I cannot successfully read the first paragraph. So
It's the dyslexia for me.
That's beautiful.
The Listexia.
Yeah.
That's
Point has been
It's
proven.
probably 8:30, but it reminds me of like a meme that went around years and years ago that said, "I have sex daily. I mean dyslexia."
Wow. Wonderful.
Right? Oh, that one always made me laugh.
Approved.
I just feel like I have to be somewhat careful. You guys are the ones that always break that 8:30 rule, not me.
It's 10 here, so you know.
I was gonna say it's 8:30 somewhere.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's 30 minutes ahead of schedule somewhere else. It's fine.
I'm gonna fight this every time.
it's always after 8:30. It's always before 8:30. except when it's 8:30, and then it's 8:30.
Figure out that paradox down in the comment section. Thank you.
And even then, only for a moment.
And only for a moment, because a moment later it's after 8:30, and a moment before it's before 8:30.
I don't even
And
like this
also after
Don't get me
8:30, and
down
also
for
before
a second,
8:30.
man.
Also, lining up with Krampus and our wonderful holiday festive cheer, we have Yule Log.
Oh, the Yule log is just if you go to the link that you guys see in the ticker, that's just part of our, because next week Wednesday is winter solstice, so that's our virtual show. And oh, see, look, I have a present to open. I'm not going to save it till virtual. I was going to open it tonight, but I guess I'll wait because we also have our author down there, and I still have to do a drawing for
I'm sure
the.
you'll find something to open.
Well, it's actually from my wand maker, because as you know, every fairy princess knows a secret wand maker, right?
This is
Two of them.
Yeah, but you're not a secret. Everybody knows.
Secret wand maker.
Only
Oh,
one.
you have such cool
Would you like to
wands.
browse my wares?
So, did I tell you that the
Khajiit
second
has
wand
wares?
that you made for me got kind of destroyed?
What?
The second wand that you made for me got kind of destroyed.
Woo.
Do with it? Those are like child-proof.
I mean, you gave it
actually
to
left
Lolly. That
it-
was the first accident, but
it
you
wasn't
know.
Montana proof.
It wasn't Dashboard of the Land Dragon in Las Vegas proof.
Oh.
Did it melt? Yeah, that sounds like Las Vegas. It's melted some fairy wings that I know. It's melted.
Yeah.
Like,
So your wand is permanently merged with your land dragon.
No, it's detached, but it's like it looks like a Weasley wand, like
I wonder if I can fix it for you.
I know plenty of people who might have had a Weasley wand, if you know what I mean.
It's not 8:30.
Fennec.
I need to put some new instructions on my how to take care of your wands.
Do not melt your wands. Your wands are not winch or dashboard proof.
I mean, I being
Not
not
Vegas.
from the Kingdom of Pacifica, I am sometimes I am forgetful of the weather.
I
You
have
know,
a sun
If you
bleach-
leave your wand in 100-degree weather, it might create its own transmutation spell.
Yeah. I have a cat stuffed animal that's like sun bleached just from one summer in Vegas. It's like bright yellow where it was black before.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a switch. All right.
Yeah. It bleached it, literally.
yeah. So now I've got one that totally went missing and one that is like, you know.
I'm concerned.
I don't know what it is with wands this year. I also lost my pink ivory wand. I think I lost that when I was in the Kingdom of Big Sky earlier this year in May. My very expensive, the one that I used to do all of the sayings and namings. So
Oh no.
yeah, that one is very sad because it actually had a stone on the end of it from Machu Picchu when I went there. It had a pink stone on the end of my pink ivory wand. So
Oh,
You need to have like those glass holders that hold your glasses, but attached to your wand.
I have
Around
a
your neck
wand
or
holster, but I think that it either got left on the silver dragon or left in the hotel room. I'm not entirely sure. So, I'm just going to use the opportunity to have a whole new one made, though. I'm going to have a 2-part one made for myself so I can put things into the grip of it. Like,
cool.
yeah. And then I haven't decided what I want the grip to look like yet, but I'm
It's
going
a wand with a secret stash.
It is. It will have a secret compartment on the inside. And then also I think I'm going to have a quartz crystal from the Seven Dwarves mine at the Enchanted Forest put into the bottom of it because I have a whole bunch of those and I love quartz. So I think that I'll do that instead. And I don't know, it'll be good. And hopefully I should have that done and ready so I can do the coronation of Queen Yanela in May at the Pirate Fest. So I'm excited to do that. Yeah. I was very honored that she asked me to do that for her. So, what's next on the agenda? Isn't
Well,
it your guys' job to keep me on track? Why are you
before
not
we
doing
get
that?
to the next part of the agenda, I wanted to say that we should now make our own little side installment called Lolly's Lost Luxuries. Because
It's so
yeah,
much.
that sounds perfect to have as a little side little thing, you know, just like what our next little thing is, a side little tip called gossip.
Ooh,
Who
no,
wants my
we have to
gossip?
skip. I think we have to skip gossip.
You have to skip gossip.
Yeah, we can come back to it after we do our. I think we should do our drawing and then our guest for the evening, and then we'll do gossip.
Oh, look,
You're
a
really
guest.
gonna make me keep my
Yes,
mouth
we
shut
do
that
think
long?
you're
Okay.
Look,
Okay.
I have
Okay.
to. I have
No,
to not
it's
open
fine.
my
It's
present
fine.
for that long.
It's
You know what?
fine.
No, I don't believe you. I do
Well, in
not
that
believe
case,
you.
to get the gossip onto the Wheel of Wind.
Do the wheel.
Yes. Okay. So I'm really excited. Oh, I'm excited
I was
to
really
see who's
expecting
gonna
you were
win,
gonna
but
like pull us off to the side and bring up the win.
I'm also very sad because I really love this one so much.
Here, everyone, use your powers. There.
there it is. This is for tonight's Wheel of Wind, which is for the cool plushy little sprout
It's
from
so cute.
from Little Sproutling Nursery. So here we go.
Little
It's
Sproutling
handmade. It's worth
Nursery.
over $100. So whoever wins this, you are winning something awesome.
Yeah.
This is Tana. Congratulations on winning. She will be so excited to hear. She's actually one of our Fairy Blossom vendors and Patreon supporters. So, hooray! Congratulations,
Tana.
Woo. No. So, one of the perks of being on our Patreon is that you get entered into every drawing. Oh, that's so cool. I'm also
Except if you help host the show.
I should be like, I'm willing to barter and negotiate for this cute. Like it had such a paunchy little butt. I loved it. Like it's what am I looking for? It's plushy little tushy, plushy tushy.
I mean,
All right.
there's a song about that, but I'll wait till after 8:30.
I don't know this song, but
My God, Becky, look at her butt.
that
It's
song.
just a bag.
I wonder if you do that for long enough, if then somebody tries to come and be like, "Oh, Warner Brothers, here claims rights to your video because you have copyrighted music in it."
I mean,
We sing it.
Hold on. If you do a poorly enough job, then they'll never recognize it.
Exactly.
yeah, I'm pretty sure as long as it doesn't sound exactly like it, anything that's in public domain therefore becomes something that is
But that's not
subjected
public
to the
domain.
was it
I'm pretty sure it's like 20%.
the parody thing or whatever.
It has to be a percentage difference.
Did
Like
we
the
do
Weird
wheel?
Al.
Did I win?
Like weird. Okay. Yes. Are we ready to bring in our guest, you guys? Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes. Yes.
Sound
Good,
great.
because I'm soft-spoken.
Oh, well, you sound perfectly hearable to us. Ta-da! Now you are embiggened.
Well, that's good to know.
Even though he aims to misbehave.
You darn right I do, every dang day.
But
That's
do
a
you
fact.
hit your target?
Do what?
Well, you aim to misbehave, but do you hit your target?
My aim gets better every day.
Your aim gets better every day.
Yep.
Actually, missing the target is part of the misbehaving. Oops, I better fire again. I didn't quite get it.
Yep, Bob got away again.
That's right.
Dang nabbit.
Well, please, if you will, introduce yourself to everybody on our show. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, my name's Joshua Griffith, and I write kind of a mixture of genres together between paranormal romance, dark fantasy, apocalyptic stories. Just kind of all combined them all into just one big old, I don't know, big casserole of stories, basically.
A casserole of stories. It's making me hungry.
Yeah. Just gotta
I
mix it a
feel
little.
like that should be the book title for all little tiny short stories that you put together. You should just name it A Casserole of Stories. I love it.
The books are excellent. You should all read them.
So, okay, so you write kind of an amalgamation of several. Which of these genres would you say is predominant?
I usually go with supernatural horror because it kind of encompasses them all.
So what kind of supernatural, or is it just all supernaturals?
Pretty much, it runs the gambit between ghosts, demons, the different FAE groups. I've got
D, all of the above.
pretty much, because I'm also a Cherokee storyteller, and part of my path is a energy worker. So with that, I deal a lot with all things paranormal that come into my
Cherokee,
life.
like the Indian tribe?
Yes.
So that's man, I did not know that coming into that tonight, but I find that particularly fortuitous because one of the things, I think I put it on the agenda, but one of the things that I was supposed to talk about tonight was fairy conspiracies. And tonight's fairy conspiracy that I was supposed to talk about is the Cherokee Little People.
What?
Yeah. Well, so in the Americas, actually, fairies aren't usually called fairies. Like most fairy stuff comes from, it either comes from Europe because it came over with immigrants, or it was already here with the various indigenous tribes who refer to fairies not as fairies but as the little people, by and large. So, and like all up and down. I mean, that's not just the United States. That's basically North and South America is little people. But now I want to know. I'm like, oh man, I should pick your brain, but we have to wait for that because this is about you right now and not about weird little people conspiracy theories. So, but maybe when you're done reading, you can stick around and we can talk about it a little bit. That would be so exciting.
Okay.
So speaking of reading, what are you going to be reading for us this evening?
Well, thus far I've published 11 novels so far. So my most recent one was wish I would have came up with this, but it was a casserole of short stories called Terror in the Dark, which has, it runs the kind of the gambit from zombies, black-eyed children, mermaids, some gremlins, a few stories from some of the other novels that I've previously written are in there as well. Just kind of like little backstories for some of the characters, and just kind of get interested into some of the other stories, and then a few original ones. But what I'm going to read today is, or tonight, whatever you want to call it. I work the night shift at the state hospital, and I planned on reading the Enter the Dampire. I can't talk.
I've heard it pronounced both ways. Dampier.
Dampier.
I was gonna ask.
However you want to say it.
I was gonna ask what kind of horror it is that you normally write. Like, is it psychological horror? Is it, blood and gore? Obviously, it's some creature horror because you've got, all of the fantasy creatures going on. But
it's kind of a bit of all of it. It's more there is some gore, but one of the biggest things I have for my characters, because I've worked in mental health for the last 20 years, and there's a thing, it's just having to deal with trauma. And this is more just in how the characters, I run them through hell basically, but I'm trying to make it's pretty dark, but at the end of each story they all come out pretty good.
Okay. Well, Here's what's going to happen next for everybody watching at home. We are going to turn the screen over to Joshua to do a reading for us.
Oh, dear.
And while Joshua is reading, we will be on mute, but you guys can put your questions for the author into the comments. And then when he is done, we will ask him your questions and he will answer them. And then we will find out what our giveaway for tonight will be. So are you ready to read, Joshua?
I was ready as can be.
All right, then here you go. Here is the screen and you're on.
All right, a little bit about, just to kind of give you a visual of what Xander Bane is. He, like I said, he's a half-breed. He's half vampire, half demon, and pretty much has all their strengths and none of their weaknesses. With this character, I wanted to make him more basically a jerk. He's an anti-hero, but I also wanted to take the stance that in most characters they have him looking beautiful and all that. Well, he's a 3.5 foot character with skin that's like almost like a pig skin, just that pink. And he's pretty much a little jerk, and he knows it, but doesn't care. So I figure I'll just start at the beginning and give you an introduction into his life. See, Chapter 1. Why are you here? Snarled Ormus, his gaze fixated on the diminutive figure that appeared from thin air. You realize you were barred from returning to the guild under pain of death? Is it your wish? Because I would gladly grant it to you. The attention of the other assassins was now focused on a familiar figure. The buzz in the room went from excitement to animosity in the span of seconds. The creature looked upon his associates with contempt and boredom. It was wearing a black jacket that came down to his calves. The creature was clad in a form-fitting leggings, a maroon shirt with a navy blue vest, and black leather boots. Yeah. Its hair was jet black and slicked back as though it appeared to be wet and shiny. The intruder's skin was a bright creamy pink, like that of a swine, only more pronounced. His eyes were slitted similar to a goat and were in the shape of teardrops, and had the visage that oozed of regality. It may have stood 3.5 feet tall, but it gave off an aura of something much larger, demanding respect. Still trying to assert yourself as the alpha amongst the guild. I figured you would have dropped that act once I finished manipulating everyone against me. And I apologize, I'm not the greatest at reading out loud because my brain goes everywhere. Hardly an effort was done on my part, abomination. Something had to be done because blah, 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 blah. Always droning on. Is that how you plan on slaying me? With a monologue that could put a politician into a coma? The sounds of different types of weapons unsheathed added to the tension in the room, but this did not deter the little creature. The staring contest seemed to draw out too long as a female assassin finally spoke. Xander Bane, stop playing games and state your purpose for this intrusion. We have places to go and bounties to collect. Xander eyed her for a moment, then grinned his needle-sharp fangs at her as he replied, bounties to collect? This band of killers before me hasn't been doing that for quite a while now, and is now the talk of many cities and realms. You tarnish the name of the Assassin's Guild just from the simple act of breathing. A dagger flew from the group, aimed directly for Xander's heart. The diminutive creature snatched it just mere inches from his chest and placed it in the pocket of his leather jacket. He adjusted his clothes and smiled in the direction from where it came from. Really? I'd hoped you could have come up with something better than that. but that feeble attempt only reinforces my earlier claim. Why have you returned? Ormus asked, seething with hate as he balefully gazed his eyes at Xander. If you have nothing better to do than to mock us with your lies, leave or lies, Xander mocked as he placed his gray clawed hand over his heart as if wounded. You know me well enough that I don't do that much. I'm simply stating a fact. The guild is slipping, and with that knowledge, jobs will be harder to come by. Even the nobles, as well as the different royal families, are openly speaking of this in public courts. The assassins muttered amongst themselves as Xander strolled around the room, letting his words sink in. The room was a circular in shape, with limestone walls embraced with trestles that rose deep from the dirt-packed ground. Xander never understood the design of the meeting room, often wondering if the architect ran out of funds or was just simply lazy. This part of the building was older than he was, and Xander was over 300 years old. Everything else within the Assassin's Guild was constructed to be an impenetrable fortress that had redundant fail-safes in place if a breach were to occur. The structure was once used as a stronghold during the FAE War that raged through this region. Now it was a home to assassins of different races, all inclusive, except for Xander. It didn't seem to matter how many bounties he brought in, societies he threw into chaos. His birthright always got viewed as filthy and impure. His lineage gave him some clout in certain social circles, but even those were few and fleeting. Most despised demons due to their chaos and the death they wrought. Many feared vampires because of their cold, vicious nature. Xander Bane was both, a half-breed abomination of both the species. It caused a lot of fear and weariness that such a creature existed with all the power and no discernible weaknesses. This hatred eventually seethed here amongst his fellow assassins over the years, spearheaded by Ormus. Xander didn't care that he was being ostracized here. It came with his birthright. Everyone believed that he should be put down because of his impurities of the two bloodlines, as some have eloquently put it. Nothing more than an aberration of nature that shouldn't be here, but lived as Xander did. Xander never shied away from anyone, and he always flaunted his uniqueness for all to see, because if one had all the strengths of both a vampire and a demon, and none of their inherent weaknesses, what did one have to fear? The half-breed reasoned. Ormus stepped out from the crowd and towered over Xander, his broadsword's point poking him in the chest. You still haven't answered our question, Worm. Why have you returned? Xander jutted his pointy chin out in defiance as he answered. I'm here because I can be here, and there's nothing that you can do about it. You're powerless in that regard. I've simply proven a point. With reflexes faster than the naked eye could track, the diminutive vampire snapped the broadsword in two with the clap of his hands. The stunned Ormus examined his weapon as Xander walked past him, patting the hulking assassin on his thigh as he added, Not even your best weapons are a match for my skill set. The diminutive creature teleported to the top of a long oak table, strutting his shiny boots all over the different bounty contracts. He unceremoniously dropped a wad of scrolls at his feet and proclaimed, I'm here to collect on the jobs that I took before this great mutiny occurred. You're no longer part of this guild, so why take these contracts elsewhere? Yeah. Ormus spat as he tossed his broken weapon on the dirt floor. I do not recognize the work, nor were you authorized by the guild to collect them. The other assassins looked between the two, listening intently as Xander replied, "Ah, so you're saying that this guild no longer honors their end of the contracts anymore?" "We do," Hormus hissed as he pointed at the diminutive figure. "Just not yours." "Doesn't matter," Xander replied with a challenging look. "As per guild bylaws, these contracts are still valid and collection can be taken by an assassin that is no longer a part of the guild, as long as the contracts were stamped before dismissal." Murmurs echoed through the room as Xander went on. "The fact that you are willing to overlook these bylaws and void payments speaks volume of your leadership position and the credibility of the guild itself." "Master Bane speaks the truth in this matter," a frail mage stated as he hobbled forward, carrying a thick leather-bound book that looked just as frail. People parted and bowed their heads as he moved slowly past. The mage was not only the keeper of the guild laws, but also the person that established the Assassin Guild 1,000 years ago. The elderly mage's forest green robe swayed with each step. His soft-soled boots made no sound despite his heavy footfall. A chair was pulled out and offered to the mage, but the mage refused to sit. His silver eyes shimmered as he gazed upon both Ormus and Xander. Ormus dropped down to one knee, bowing his head, which Xander rolled his eyes at this respectful gesture. The mage didn't acknowledge Ormus as he opened the tattered book, finding the page he needed with little effort. "Master Zion, we didn't expect to roust you from your chambers for this trivial matter." "Not so trivial that my laws are being twisted. Stand up and read the paragraph here," Master Zion irritatedly replied as he shoved the book at Ormus, pointing a gnarly finger at the text in question. The assassin stood up slowly, not wanting to anger the founding master any further, and obediently read the passage as Xander smirked. "Article 11.4. All contracts of employment are recognized and shall be honored in the event a guild member is no longer affiliated with the guild. This is binding and cannot be contested as long as the contract has the seal of acceptance from the guild prior to dismissal. All payments shall be made for completion of disputed contracts, no exceptions." Ormus fumed, but he kept his visage as unemotional as possible. Before the guild master could speak, Xander nudged Ormus as he pointed to the tome. "Now read 3 paragraphs down." He glanced at Master Zion for confirmation. "Article 15.7. Master Zion curtly nodded and motioned for Ormus to speak the law aloud. The assassin grinded his teeth, feeling that this abomination was making a fool of him in front of most of the guild. He will pay for this blatant disrespect. Master Zion cleared his throat with a raspy cough, an unspoken command to read. Ormus wasn't sure what the point of reading this article was, since Xander had proven that he was in the right, but soon it became clear as he read. Sweat beaded across his skin as he audibly gulped. Article 15.7. If subservice acts of Article 11 in the form of non-payment of any valid contracts or denial of payment for the services rendered on the contracts with the guild seal of approval, shall be punishable by, but not limited to, banishment, death, stripped of rank, unless the owner of the contracts specifies another course of punishment for compensation for the denied monetary services completed indicated by the contract. gasp escaped the lips of other assassins as Xander teleported himself to stand on the high ceiling and announced with a toothy grin, "Sounds like a few of your members didn't take time to read your rules of the guild, Master Zion. Question is, which route shall this take?" "It saddens me to hear that this is, well." Master Zion shook his head in disgust, fuming with irritation. "These rules are ironclad and in place for a reason. If word gets out that we no longer abide by the guidelines in this place, none will contract for our services. May I see the contracts in question?" A female assassin gathered all of Xander's contracts and meekly presented them to the Master Zion for inspection. The old mage sat down and unraveled each one with his emaciated hands. "My Master Bane," Zion commented impassively, "you have been active since your dismissal. What can I say? I do what these complacent children refuse to do. How could we do this when you claim 20 contracts at once?" A meek female assassin protested. "You left nothing for any of us," Xander replied dismissively. "Not my concern, Finette. All contracts are first come, first serve, remember? It's not my problem that you were too slow to claim the income when they came in. It's behavior like this that got you dismissed from the guild in the first place, abomination," Xander snarled, pointing an accusatory finger at the vampire. "By your actions, you sought to take food and coins from the entire guild. You meant to starve and humiliate us all." "This is true." Xander grinned with little shame. "I knew you were planning to throw me out into the cold, harsh world, so I figured I'd work while screwing you over. Worked out great in the end." "You are wealthy beyond measure," someone shouted. "You're nothing more than a vindictive piece of filth." "I shall never deny that claim," Xander conceded with amusement. "I'm only here to get what's rightfully mine. What say you, Master Zion?" The elderly mage set the last scroll down on the coarse countertop, glaring at Ormus as he spoke. "All these contracts are valid and have been completed. You are entitled to all these bounties, Xander Vane." Xander cackled as he teleported down onto the tabletop as Zion waved his hand, producing a dozen money pouches. Ormus was about to protest, but the elderly mage cut him off. "You dare question my ruling? I haven't decided which punishment to mete out. Master Bane, do you wish to add anything to his punishment at this time? It is your right." Xander mused as he teleported down beside Ormus, slowly circling the assassin. What to do? It's funny how your fate has ended up in my hands. It only took a little time to study the bylaws for the guild. I see that pettiness is still going strong between the two of you, Zion commented. "Yes, and if I choose nothing, then it's certain death for you," Xander stated as he smacked Ormus on his butt, adding to his humiliation. "Make your choice and be done with it, abomination," Ormus growled. "Either give me death or pick your compensation. I'm tired of your games." "We wouldn't be in this position if at this point in time if you didn't play games with me. You made your choice. Now I get to be the final consequence to your action. Tell me, what does that make you feel?" I won't dignify that with an answer, abomination. Give me death, Zion. I know it's what the little filth will decree. Xander, the elderly mage asked as Ormus gulped loudly, what is your choice? I have decided, Xander teleported back up on the tabletop, facing Zion, as he proclaimed with a clawed finger in the air, that I should receive compensation in the form of restitution on his part. All bounties Ormus collects goes to me. He has to pay me for the amount of money that he tried to deny me, plus 10% interest. What? Ormus slammed his fist on the table, not caring for etiquette any longer. This is an outrage. He can't do that to me. Compensation is his choice, so yes, he can. And I've already earmarked all bounties turned in by you to be forwarded to Xander Bane. I shall let you know when the debt is paid off. How much am I indentured for? Ormus asked with a pent-up breath, his eyes glancing at the 12 overly stuffed money bags. Xander had a lucrative amount of bounties that netted him. Master Zion concentrated for a moment, then raised his bushy eyebrows. 202 million gold pieces. Ormus's face ashened as his mouth gaped in shock. Murmurs erupted throughout the room as Xander turned around, giggling as he softly patted the stunned assassin's cheek and mocked. You best get to collecting bounties quickly if you don't want to incur interest on that sum. Aim high and make me proud. I think I'll just stop right there.
All right, so let me bring us back together here. Thank you so much for reading there. We do have some questions out in the audience, and I know that Phoenix, who wasn't feeling well, did have to take his leave while you were reading. So that is where our fox has gone off to. But let me go pull up the questions that we have. Man, talk about some... All the talk of Assassin's Guild makes me want to watch The Hogfather now.
Such a good movie.
It's a Christmas tradition.
Darn right it is.
My favorites. Let's see. So scrolling back, like talk about some rough punishment if they don't fulfill the contract. Not up to, but not including death. Okay, let's see.
Gotta keep them honest.
We've got many authors have little features in their work which ties all of their novels together. Do you have similar things in your stories that tie them together?
As of lately, my stories that I've been writing has grown since 2015. I'm starting to just throw little nuggets in of the kind of hints that this person, like certain characters, could be mentioned, just almost like multiverse type stuff, just to see if someone's a fan. Let's see if they catch on really quick. Let's see if they can spot it, because there's in the second novel of the Xander Bane Chronicles, there's a Fae character called Valdestian, and he's briefly in here, but he's also in another series called the Reset series. He is a Fae weapons master warrior, and he fights in the Fae War. And there's even a little short story of him fighting with Xander in the short stories that I just published not that long ago. And I just like trying to throw little nuggets in there just to see if you're paying attention.
Nice.
You've got some Easter eggs hidden in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Ingvi. That's very kind of you. Let me scroll up and find our next question here.
Yes, it is a bunch of questions.
Of course, Flora would ask,
Yes.
what is your raunchiest book?
She's asking for a friend.
Yeah, asking for a friend.
That's what they all say. Well, like I said, most of my stories, there's some paranormal romance in them. It's when I do the sex scenes in them, I get quite detailed. I go with a slow burn when I write those, just trying to make it just right.
Flora will buy them all.
Mhm.
So, yeah, basically all of them.
All of them. Flora will buy all of them.
Except for the zombie book called The Decaying Destiny of Bobby the Zombie. There's no zombie sex in that, okay? Which that's a horror comedy that I threw together. That's pretty much it.
I feel like losing body parts in inappropriate places is
Sounds hilarious.
Pretty much you hear his whole inner monologue as he's trying to figure out what the heck he's doing because he's a zombie. He doesn't know what the heck he's doing. He didn't get that handbook for the deceased. He only knows what he vaguely remembers. He doesn't remember his previous life, but for some reason he remembers all of these little trivial things like
Where the brains are?
Huh?
Where the brains
where
are?
the brains are.
Yeah. He has to eat brains because it makes the hunger go away. He can eat a person's body, but that doesn't satisfy the hunger in him. And if he goes too long, he starts feeling extreme pain from the decay. And unfortunately for him, stairs and steps are his Achilles heel. He always goes tumbling down them.
I feel that one.
Mm-hmm.
Secretly, you're a zombie, Stormy?
I actually fell down the stairs today. It was great.
No, people can get serious injuries from doing that. Don't fall down the stairs.
I wish we didn't have stairs in the house. This is now my third or fourth trip.
Wow.
Trip down the stairs, huh?
It wasn't as bad as the first one when I was carrying the vacuum.
We're in winter now. You're not supposed to fall anymore.
At least I'm not getting run over by reindeer.
Yeah.
Not that old yet.
Stormy got run over by a reindeer.
Means I have to go outside.
Maybe Stormy is actually the Yule cat. I don't know, but now my brain wants to sing that song. So let's see. Are any of these characters coming from inspiring people in your life?
Well, my first trilogy that I did was called the Yona trilogy, which in Cherokee, Yona means bear. And he's a Native American healer, but also he can shapeshift into a 900-pound grizzly bear. And I based that off of myself loosely because my spirit animal is a brown bear. And I do energy healing and energy work. So I just lent that to my personality to that character and tried to weave in the whole mindset of the Cherokees, where we try and do good, as we call it, do good medicine. It could be simple acts of giving, whether it's the shirt off your back or what have you. If someone's in need, you help. And for him, it can be a detriment for him because he's easily taken advantage of.
No, that's sad.
That's why he decided during that apocalypse, he ended up taking over a Costco and just sealed himself in there until it was blowing over.
That is absolutely what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what happens in Idiocracy, isn't it? Like Costco becomes the...
Yeah. It's where what's his name went to college, law school.
I have a Costco college degree.
He got his law degree at Costco.
Oh, of course.
And he figures you can't get in without a membership, so it's all good.
Okay, so let's see. We've got, are all the novels that you have written in the same universe you developed, or are most of them their own separate worlds?
They're their own separate worlds, but I also look at it like there are their own multi-dimensions. Like there is a possibility that some characters could easily slip into the other universes that I've created. As I said, Valdesian, he's in Xander Bane, but he's also in the Reset series, so he was able to travel from his world, the world that Xander resides in, into our world. And the Reset series is basically it's an apocalyptic event where if a civilization relies too heavily on technology and pretty much forsakes nature, this event happens and it ends up destroying that civilization. And it's happened throughout the ages, which is partly why part of the inspiration for it was also all these archaeologists are always finding these old civilizations. We don't know what happened to them. There's no real record. What happened to all these people? Well, in this, it's because they were obliterated. And in this version of the Reset, as we are right now with technology and all that, it was expanded globally. It's no longer just one little civilization. It's the whole world is going to crap.
No, it's I'm not sure. I'm not sure how fantasy that is.
Yeah, reality seemed to snatch that before because I wrote this pre-pandemic, and it's like what? Because
Good job, Josh. You made the pandemic happen.
You're writing a prophetic
that's
book.
why I can't have nice things. That's why we
This
can't
is
have
why we
nice
can't have
things.
nice things.
You're why we can't. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's your fault. Okay. Let's see.
The first two chapters in the first book, occurs in 1980, somewhere like in some black ops facility, where all the government officials are wanting to cleanse the world of all the disabled and elderly just because the population needs to be culled. So what do? Well, they decide it's a good idea. Let's summon a deity to manipulate the flu virus and to do it. To target those different groups that they want to get rid of.
So, like now.
Except, unfortunately for them, that deity had other plans and decided, no, it's time for a reset.
Going after
the red button. Given that you have written 11 novels so far, how many books do you have in the works for right now? And about how long does it take for you to write your novels?
Oh, dear Lordy. Currently, I got like 5 or 6 manuscripts going right now that I'm currently touching on here and there. It takes me a while because, like I said, I work at the Oregon State Hospital, and a little before my year was there, I got assaulted at work, which resulted in a severe concussion, and I developed pseudo seizures on top of it. Like a month and a half later.
That's harsh.
It was terrible.
Well, in the beginning, before the injury, I was able to write the trilogy and another book called The Second Coming of Hell within a year. And it took me like 2 years before I could publish or even want to look at a computer screen because the hypersensitivity was so bad. Now it's just like I take my time, and this year I just published one book, but I've had 3 of my previous novels already recorded in an audiobook right now.
Oh wow, so you do have some in audiobook.
Yeah, just about all of my books are an audiobook except for the second book in the Reset series and of course the short stories.
that just, yeah.
I
Well,
love when you do audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And all of your links as well are in the low bar wherever people are watching from if they want. So if they want to get your books, they can just, you guys can just look in the descriptor and find Joshua at a bunch of different places. I think that was actually the last question that I see from the audience, although we did have a comment briefly that the civilizations usually declined because of nearby volcanic eruptions, just like the one in Guatemala that's erupting right now, was a comment that came from one of our Twitch viewers, Macaroon Granola. So with that said, what do we have for this week's giveaway?
Well, it all depends upon whoever's winning. I can do a digital copy. Yeah. I can't talk. Like I said, I have trouble speaking at times because of the brain trauma.
That's okay. Have you seen our show?
Yeah.
And I do flub my sentences, but I do my best. But I can send a digital copy of Enter the Dampire or any of the books that I have, if they wish to, if that's what they prefer, or if someone has a preference to the audiobook version, I do have codes for those.
So the winner gets their choice of book either in digital or in audio.
Or I can simply just if there was one winner, I could simply just sign a copy and send it right to you.
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Fairness.
I personally like the physical books, but some people, especially because COVID, and some people like to get things in a digital format. That way they don't have to risk germs and whatnot. So okay, well that means, you guys, that it is magic word time. So enter the Dampire, and Ion, do you have the timer? You guys need to put your magic word suggestions for this week's drawing into the comments right now as we speak. And Ion, please start the timer. And what this is the magic word that you guys will enter after the show is over in order to get into the drawing for next week, so that you can win potentially this prize. So, oh, nice, Stormy.
That's a good one, Stormy. I was gonna go with diminutive.
I mean, I was thinking something along the lines of
Ursa,
of assassins of some sort,
Or there's abomination.
Yeah,
that's what they love calling him.
I know. It's like, geez.
Yeah, they were pretty scathing. So
rub it in, guys.
What?
Rub it in, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't care.
He does not seem to.
No.
I do have to say that I like writing as well with a pen, but if I'm writing like a story, then I have to be typing because it's just faster to get things out of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so the timer is up, and here are the suggestions for the evening. So we have actually 2 suggestions for Abomination, and we have Dampire. We have Little People.
Cobble typed that one in before I got it in. It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's the only one I came up with, and he typed it in first.
Our second suggestion for Abomination. Oh, this is kind of cool. Whatever the Cherokee word for bear is. It was Yona. Yeah. Let's see. And then we have a second one for Dampier. And then Guild Advocate. So those are your options, Joshua. Which one of these do you like best to choose from?
Oh, you gonna make me guess, huh?
Well, so you're the author, so you get to choose which one you like best of the options that are out there.
I think I'll go with Abomination.
Abomination.
Mhm.
All right, Abomination it is. And so you guys know how this works. I'm going to actually put it into the comments for you. So only on YouTube, not on Facebook, not on Twitch. Go put the word Abomination into the comment section after the show, not in the live comments during the show. And then next week, you will be entered onto that Wheel of Win that you saw earlier. You can get your extra entries by joining our Patreon as well, and then be entered into every drawing that we do automatically. So that is what, and so it's for a copy, either physical or audio or digital of Joshua's book. And with that said, is there anything you would like to say to us before we let you go for the evening, Joshua?
Like I said, I just like to write because it's part of who I am. I'm a storyteller. My stories are pretty dark and brutal, just much like life is. I mean, like I said, most of them are apocalyptic events. It's just going to be dark and dreary, but in the end, there's always a light of hope at the end.
So, okay, so did you want to hear
right
what?
Just like right now with the pandemic, there's a light there. Eventually, we'll get there, but for a short time, we're just going to deal with it.
We're working on it. We're getting there. Did you want to hear what the fairy conspiracy was? The Cherokee fairy conspiracy theory that I was reading about?
Go for it.
I know we haven't got to the gossip yet, but I know I keep trying to get there. No, okay, so last week we kind of got on this tangential topic of fairy conspiracy theories, and I circled back to the Fairy Investigation Society, a group of colleagues of mine, and somebody suggested that I buy and read a book called The Cherokee Little People Were Real. And it had actually been on my book list for a minute to go buy, so I did. And it's a strange book. It's kind of a compilation of interviews with old timers in North Carolina concerning the Western North Carolina University or Western Carolina University or something to that effect. And the conspiracy theory is this, that back in the 1930s, when they were adding buildings to this university and excavating the land around it, that there were mounds there that I guess maybe, I don't know, they just call them mounds. They don't really say that they were burial mounds or anything. They just say that they were mounds. But that when they were excavating, they came upon tunnels in the mounds that were supposedly the tunnels of little people. And they were only, as they described them, maybe something like 2 or 3 feet high, like, and kind of, so these, and I guess that all around this little town in various places, like there's a farm where they maybe discovered some little tunnels, and then up in the mountains there was or is some mountain people who make moonshine or did make moonshine, and there were supposedly tunnels up there, like kind of near mica, a mica mining area, and they found little tunnels up there. And I guess like the local lore says that there's 2 types of little people there. That there's little people that are black haired and maybe a few feet tall that look or resemble the Cherokee. And then there's other little people, and the Cherokee like those little people. And then there's another type of little person who are either kind of maybe like blonde hair, but red beards, much more like Western European leprechaun descriptions, and that the Cherokee didn't like. But the old timers say that that was a long time ago, and all the little people disappeared. And now that just the Cherokee only believe in spirit little people, not actual little people, but the actual little people. And they say that it was a conspiracy by the university to cover up the fact that these tunnels were found, because one of the things they also found were like the bones, like very small bones. They I guess like one of them was the size of a child, like a small skull of a child, except for that it had all of its wisdom teeth.
Yep.
And I guess that kind of hung around the university for quite some time. So that's...
I saw a documentary years ago. You just reminded me. They found the same thing over in Egypt. Little tunnels and tiny bones of adult people that were small.
But yeah, well, it's not the only place that it's happened though. It like in South America as well. There's a whole bunch of different and there's one that's really famous, but I think it's actually been shown to not be. It's been what is the I'm trying to think of what it's called. But it's a tiny little kind of a mummified body that came somewhere out of South America. It's rather famous.
Pygmy.
Like what?
Pygmy?
What do you mean pygmy? I don't understand. It has a name. It's not called
Pygmy is the name of the...
No, it isn't. Pygmy is not the name of it.
I would suggest that it is, but it is a name of a thing. Group of people.
I know it's a name of a group of people, but that is not what I'm talking about. Let's see. The Atacama mummy? No, that is not it, but that is one of them. Let's see. Mummified. Let me see if I can find it. It had a name, but like, what do you know about these things? Like, you're the person with the Cherokee connections here. So if you're willing to tell us, because I guess that maybe it's not a thing that people want to talk about.
I don't mind talking about them. It's just little people, they were just small entities for us. Just they were either good or bad, just depending upon if you pissed them off or not. Because you gave offerings of either food or water just to placate them, because they could wreak some havoc on you and your surrounding villages. And
what kind of offerings do you give them?
Usually just something. There's usually food or drink. Some of them can be specific about wanting certain herbs, like sage and stuff like that. Whatever's indigenous to that area. Each one's, they, like I said, is they're kind of like, in a way, they're part of the Fae, but not. They're like an offshoot of like fairies and stuff, and gnomes. Is what I would equate them to. And some of the little ones that are like 3 or 4 feet tall, or 2 to 3 feet tall, kind of have that or our North American version of the Hobbit, basically, where they love burrowing in the ground and just staying out of sight and out of people's today's society, just avoiding everything.
Do you think that they were real people, or do you think that they're there's some kind of more magical people?
Well, they're magical people. They were once like, you could be like you and I here, but as time went on and more strife occurred, they were able to use the energies of the land to just shift out and be in the same plane as kind of like ghosts are, just where you can't see them unless your third eye is open. So they're still there. They could be standing right next to you and you wouldn't even know it.
That's fascinating. Have you ever seen one?
Let's see. I've seen numerous things, but I have yet to come across them. Since they're mostly predominantly over there on the East Coast,
Yeah.
in the Carolinas and the mountain range.
Probably don't like the city very much either.
Not too much.
To be fair, I don't like the city much either.
Mm-hmm.
I like it for the food.
You like it for the food? Man, now I'm hungry. I found what I was trying to refer to earlier. This is it. The San Pedro, the San Pedro mummy is the one that I was talking about.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, there's all kinds of like little people stories, especially from the Americas, but they are pretty much worldwide.
Yeah.
But I think that just like I guess I find it fascinating. One of the things that the book was saying also, like in the interviews, they were talking about how the little people they believe lived underground and would only come out at night, I guess, because they apparently were sensitive to the light.
I guess you live underground. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
And they could go unseen that way too.
Yeah, also true. I don't know. It's pretty fascinating. So I wonder if there's just like a whole network of underground tunnels connecting the earth. That would be amazing.
Probably.
Well, I'm sorry. Thank you so much though for staying on with us. Like that was like a complete impromptu, and thanks for sharing your knowledge. Actually, I mean, what a weird coincidence, right? Or maybe not so weird. Maybe
right?
I know. Maybe
I don't know if they're coincidences anymore. They are just things that happen.
Right?
Yeah. It's like I say in my little the little biography on my author page. It's like I write about all these things, but the one thing that I ask is, you read these stories and just ask yourself, could these things really happen?
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never know. I guess folklore and all those things have to come from someplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
and they're worldwide. We just have different names for the different things we see.
Yeah, worldwide, and they basically go back in time for as long as people are there. So yeah, that's what it's called, Hollow Earth theory. I mean, I don't mean yeah. Okay, well, I'm sorry to keep you for so long, but thank you so much for staying. That was awesome. And we will let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yep, I got to get ready and go to work and have fun.
All right. Good luck.
Good luck.
Take care.
Good night,
Josh.
Bye.
That was super cool. Like so many things.
Right?
I know. I want to hear more. I want to hear all of the fairy tales now that are there.
There's so many.
So many. You have so many. I have so many.
Ours.
All right, so
each person has their own stories too about things that have happened to them, so it's pretty much like never-ending fairy story.
So were you thinking you're gonna open your present now, or?
Okay, how about I open my present while you tell us what your bit of gossip is? And tell us about last night in the Tipsy Pixie, because we all got together in the Tipsy Pixie and we had kind of our first gathering there, which was a very fun evening of super fight.
Oh, I missed Tipsy Pixie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the Tipsy Pixie last night, a few of us gathered, and we ended up in a rousing super fight tournament. Super fight is a game in which you argue about who would win, and the problem is that the who's that you get to argue for isn't always fair. So
That's an understatement.
So it can get pretty complicated and goofy, but it was lots of fun, and we sort of did a round robin tournament. That was a lot of fun. Rainwolf won the tournament, and was clearly the super fight champion. So,
At least this time. But Kamar and I are going to have a rematch. I'm telling you, I should have won. I had a whole circus. Come on, there was clown cars and everything.
What did I miss? It's not kind of like a normal battle.
Oh no, okay, so like in the game Super Fight, right? So it's sort of like if you were to imagine like in Cards Against Humanity, you have white cards and black cards, and you draw one card, and your card is like Iron Man, and then you draw two modifier cards that's like with Chuck Norris for arms and an overinflated ego, and then that's your superhero. And then the other person gets another, gets something as well. So then they'll be like, who's your favorite comic book character? And then you get two modifiers. Like one of the modifiers was like wielding a shotgun that fires shotguns, and just like they're crazy modifiers, right?
and cement shoes.
And a beard made out of bees. And then you have to argue why your superhero would win in a fight against the other superhero. And whoever does the best arguing for why they wins that round. So, so Rainwolf actually ended up winning the... you want that shotgun, the shotgun that fires shotguns. Okay, here we go.
That's a money-making shotgun right there.
Yes, but that was not the most important part of what was discussed that evening.
Yes, so the main thing is that we have been visiting the city of Phineas, the city of the South, and there's this glyph, a Firbolg glyph that's locking the east gate to the city of the East. And so far, we have found one of the glyph stones.
Looks like this.
And put it in place.
It's like a Tron.
I think of it a bit like a mesa, which is a flat top on a mountain. But but we're missing the other one, and I suspect, because we've been going to this place quite often and not with the same group of people all the time, that we've already found it. Someone probably has it.
Oh no!
But they don't know that they have it.
That sounds like me and all my D&D spells.
So what does a glyph stone look like?
So they're little they're flat looking marbles, and they're little stones, much like marbles, but they have a flattened side. And written on one of the sides of this marble is that glyph, the sort of mesa looking thing with the circles at the bottom. Could be upside down when you see it, though. Anyway, the point is that I suspect that someone already has this thing, and they don't know it. They may have discovered it during some other adventure, or when they happen to be at Fairy Blossom or Applebat. Who knows, right? The point is that
is the Order of the Scepter offering a reward if somebody comes forth with this glyph?
Do I have it?
I don't know. I know that I do not have it. I have the Fiero wand and the Arius wand. So the Arius wand needs to be used to open the gate, and I'm keeping that in holding until both of the glyphs are found, but only one of them has been found. So
I love that one time where I actually had the physical scroll to the fire thing. Like, I had it. I was like, wait, I physically have this thing. Hold on, is this what we need? And you were like, yes, it is. And I was like, oh. I would have forgotten had I not physically had it. If it was just in a inventory, I totally would have spaced it. But because I had it sitting right there.
So someone I suspect has it, and they don't know. I cannot speak for the captain of the Order of the Scepter on whether or not there'll be a reward offered, but I can find out. But it is something that we need in order to discover the mysteries of the cities and their treasures. So, that is, I implore anyone that thinks they might have it or an enchanted item that might help us find it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. If somebody has an enchanted item to find it.
That either would be really helpful to send a message to Flora as our gossip keeper. She will help gather the information for us so that we can proceed forward.
Yeah, you can
look in the vault and see what I have.
And in the hedge too. That's where you can find Flora or whatever. Okay, here it is. I haven't looked, but it's basically. Are you ready to see what I've got?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what it is, but
oh, whoa, what?
Oh, it's
is that a dagger I see before you?
That's so cool.
It is. So this is made for me by my magic wand maker, who is the person that makes all the wooden wands that are in my shop on Etsy. Oh, it's sharp too. I believe it is not supposed to be a dagger, but how it is used, I suppose, is up to the wielder. I believe it is probably supposed to be an envelope opener. Like,
I thought, or maybe it could. You could also use it as what's it called? Like, what are the witches' daggers? Like anthems or something?
Oh, athame.
Yeah, that. You could use it as
you could use it as an athame, actually. So yeah, it's 2 different types of wood, and Bubinga is this kind of this, maybe a maple, burl maple for the, I don't know if you guys, if it gets too dark to see, but that's pretty cool. I always get and it is like, so, well, thank you, my mysterious wand maker, even though I'm sure that you're probably not out there watching. But, okay, so it's 9:19. Wow, we got away from ourselves. We have to do at least one crazy article, you guys. So what do we have here, Ion?
So I shared 4 in our private chat.
Let's see.
I admit one of them is a troll because I could not successfully read aloud the first paragraph.
You know what?
It's up to you. It's up to you to figure out which one that is. Oh,
I'm just gonna show you guys though, really quickly. It is in fact possible to get this. $15.
Wow. I'd pay that.
Right. I really, really, really want this. I'm just saying. Okay, so let me look at what our articles are. Let's see. You two talk amongst yourselves.
Want a chip?
Yeah.
If you actually pulled out a chip, I would have lost it. I would have lost my mind. Ian keeps hidden chips.
Actually, this one sounds kind of funny. Okay, so oh, that's not what I thought. Okay. Ooh, that's cool.
They're amazing.
Oh no.
Highly recommend taco chips.
Loaded taco, they're protein chips.
And
does that mean they're not actually tortillas? They're made of something else?
Probably. But they have like extra protein in there, which I always need because I am small.
And
all right.
Do they taste like tacos?
They do. Actually, better than tacos, I feel like.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it's making me hungry, so I have to interrupt you and do our articles.
Taco flavored chips.
Let's see. Okay, article number 1. A girl asked if she could keep a unicorn in her yard. LA County gave her a license. Versus article number 2, which is Mars rover captures the first sound of a dust devil on the red planet. So if you want to hear about the I know. If you want to hear about front yard unicorn license, press number 1. And if you want to hear about dust devils on Mars, press number 2. Ion, please start the timer.
I guess I mostly want to know about number 1 only if she acquires the unicorn. Other than that, I'd rather hear this down. If she doesn't have a unicorn, keep going.
And won't they be surprised when suddenly there's a unicorn in our front yard?
Well, we can't go back now.
Oh, right. Because then that would be horrible. Can you imagine? Like, you give them a license, little girl, they go out, they get a unicorn, right? You know, and like one of those shaggy, maybe a Shetland goat or something that has the, you know, funky little abnormal horn, right? That just the one horn. They get it, they put it in their yard, and then they're like, oh, but you guys can't actually do that. Imagine the heyday that the news would have with that, because then the little girl, she's crying, like,
you have the paperwork.
Yeah. Don't make fluffy sparkle pants go. Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Right.
What? Oh, no way. This is awesome.
Oh,
I am gonna buy that. I will buy that. I know. Thank you so much. That's amazing. For the canned unicorn meat. I'm gonna go get it. I'm so excited. Oh no. Okay. What do we have here? Let's see. We've got, for our votes, we've got 1 for 2, 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 2 for 1, and 3 for 1. Okay, we have 3 for 1, and number 1 was the unicorn. So let's see here. Let me pull up my share button. Okay. I'm so excited about the unicorn meat. Okay. A girl asked if she could keep a unicorn in her yard. LA County gave her a license. A 6-year-old on a quest to keep a unicorn, in her backyard, figured that she'd get the hard part out of the way first, getting permission from animal control. In mid-November, eager to cut through the red tape, Madeline wrote a letter to the Los Angeles County Department of Animal Care and Control with a straightforward request. The county redacted her last name for obvious reasons. Dear LA County, it reads, I would like your approval if I can have a unicorn in my backyard if I can find one. Please send me a letter in response.
So formal.
Right. Look at her. Boy, she's got very nice handwriting for a 6-year-old.
Wow.
My goodness.
Better than mine. What the heck?
Director Marsha Maeda obliged a few weeks later, writing back with good news. The department does, in fact, license unicorns, she said, under certain conditions.
So cute.
Those include polishing the unicorn's horn at least once a month with a soft cloth, feeding it watermelon, one of its favorite treats, at least once a week, covering it with only non-toxic and biodegradable sparkles, and giving it regular access to sunlight, moonbeams, and rainbows.
Oh my gosh.
In LA County, where are you going to find rainbows? Confident that Madeline will meet the 5 requirements, Maeda also sent her a pre-approved unicorn license for her elusive future pet in the form of a certificate on pink paper with curly-Q script, as well as a heart-shaped tag engraved with the words permanent. Permanent. They cannot go back now. Wow. I don't think they know what they did, man.
No.
And because unicorns are indeed very rare to find, the department is also giving Madeline a plush unicorn wearing the tag, of course, to keep her company during her search as a token of its appreciation.
Wow.
It is always rewarding to hear from young people who thoughtfully consider the requirements of providing a loving home to animals, Maeda wrote. I commend your sense of responsible pet ownership and seek permission in advance to keep a unicorn in Los Angeles County. Oh, and here it is.
So sad there. Let's be honest.
What?
It would be so sad in LA, let's be honest.
Oh, it's so cute though, the whole thing. Maida told the
Really?
Washington Post that this is the first time the department has received a request for a license for a unicorn or any mythical creature in her more than 2 decades of working there.
Wow.
She said she and her colleagues deal with a lot of emotionally draining and life and death issues on the job, whether that's seeing cases of animal abuse or animals hurting people or making decisions about having to put down dangerous or sick animals. So Madeline's letter has considerably brightened their spirits, she said, adding that everybody was just so touched and charmed and just thrilled with it. They were also impressed with the first grader for wanting to ask permission in the first place and doing her research to figure out how to go about that. Madeline's mother didn't want to discourage her when she asked for a unicorn, so she suggested that it might come down to getting government approval. Madeline said, okay, and she marched off, and an hour later came back and said, will you help me mail this?
Wow.
While the letter was received and replied to in a matter of weeks, Madeline still hadn't gotten the response as of Friday, since her mom thought the license would be a perfect birthday present for her later this month. She's due to visit the department this week under the guise of visiting an animal care center to discuss her unicorn license application. Safe to say she's in for a magical surprise. That's really,
Yeah.
it is really cute, actually. I love that so much.
How wholesome.
Oh, can confirm LA is a sad city that needs more unicorns.
So I normally disguise dragons as cats, and so I send that picture to our Facebook chat of an example. So,
An example of what?
A dragon disguised as a cat.
We do that sometimes.
Oh.
That way you don't.
What?
That's hilarious. That is that's a good one. That's probably one of the best memes I've seen in a while. I'm gonna save that. Hold on.
Okay, wait. I'm not following what's happening here. You sent a meme someplace?
To our FAE News chat.
Oh gosh, it's so tiny though. It's not actually big enough, I don't think, to share. It's like teensy tiny on my screen.
Is it? Weird.
Yeah. I'll try to open it in a new tab and see if. Nope, that does not make
What's up, dragon cat meme?
I have seen that meme before.
Or,
Okay.
yeah.
I really just kind of want to see, though. I just want to skip to the part of the Mars rover. I really want to hear this thing.
Down.
Okay.
I know. Can you guys see it?
Yes, but can we hear it?
Not while it's not playing. So here we go. It's 26 seconds long. How do they even know what that is?
So it sounds like wind, I guess?
I mean, I guess that was exciting, but also it just kind of sounded like wind on a microphone.
I also don't know what I expected it to sound like.
Yeah,
True.
that would be also what a dust devil sounds like on Earth too. Just wind on a microphone.
I guess I thought it would sound louder, like.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be more aggressive.
Well, there's not a lot of air on Mars, so
There.
There's not a lot of what?
Air.
Well, but does there have to be air in order to make air sounds? Can't there be other gases or things that can blow around?
There's not a lot of gases around Mars.
Well, there's something.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Wait till the humans get there.
Mars lost a lot of its atmosphere it probably had before because it's not heavy enough to hold on to it in the solar wind.
Oh,
so
what's a solar wind?
So solar wind is the pressure that the sun's light exerts on all the bodies in the solar system just because light's pressing on it.
space.
Yep, the confusing frontier.
Yeah.
So
It never ends.
light actually produces a pressure, and as a result, you could build a sail to use in space to sail around the solar system, just using the wind from the sun to move
If
you
light
about.
produces a pressure, does that mean that photons have mass?
No, it means they have momentum.
But if they don't have mass, how can they have momentum? I mean, what is
Good
there
question.
to move?
They do have momentum, but they don't have mass.
This is above my pay grade.
Stormy says, eating more of the joke. Okay, you guys, it is 9:30, so thank you everybody for joining us tonight on the show. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you had fun with us. And also, I just want to put the little reminder out there, we're at 145 patrons. We're trying to get to 200 by the end of the month, so please consider doing that Patreon business, and that is also what our special offer is. So if by the end of the month, we are going to have wooden tokens made that are dross tokens that will be worth the amount of number of patrons that we have. So, and if we do hit 200, we're actually also having custom D10s made for all of you dice goblins out there from one of our earlier vendors this year. Yes, if you want your custom clicky clacky rock, then that is where we need to get. And I think that with everything said, just a reminder that tomorrow we're having our meeting, our volunteer meeting for Fairylight, which is in February, and we're having that in Discord, in the Hedge in Discord. So you can find the links for all of that in the low bar if you're watching from Facebook or from YouTube. And don't forget that our magic word is abomination. Go over to YouTube, put it in to the comments after we sign off. And then I think with everything, who's going to do Count Morbid's line tonight?
I think it's the Ion's turn, isn't it?
Okay, all right, I can do it.
All right, your turn, Ion.
Go away.
Hello and welcome to FAE Productions. We hope you enjoyed our show with your host, Fairy Princess Ollie. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you had fun with our FAE crew. Don't forget to click that little bell icon to get notifications of upcoming shows. And if you're looking to support your fellow FAE, fly on over to our Patreon, links below.
Did it?